About the vivy anime, or the full name Vivy's Florets Eye Song. I won't say the whole thing though, cause that's pretty extra. I got no clue how I never heard about this anime last year. I mean, really no anime YouTubers made a video about it. The only thing about it I could find is Giga talking about it on his podcast, so he probably mentioned it in one of his seasonal videos. I don't watch Trash Taste though, and I haven't watched Giga in a long ass time. But then I saw niggas like Moist Critical making a video about it, so it definitely was not unknown or anything. It won awards on a bunch of different websites, so I was just living under a rock and never heard about it. The only reason I found it was because I was skimming through some video and saw a clip on it. The animation was looking really nice, so I just decided to watch it next. I think it's the best anime to come out of last year. That's partly because it's fresh off my memory, so I have a little bit of a bias to it. That's why I don't like making top 5 or top 10 or top anything list, cause it's mostly gonna be what I end up remembering. And I'm not gonna remember every single show I watch off memory, but I'm a lot more confident saying what I think is number 1, cause it'll be the most consistent. And I really do think Vivy is the best anime from its year, with like Mushoku Tensei and To Your Eternity as honorable mentions, so I wanted to talk about it. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, I'm gonna say some spoiler shit. Watch the anime first and then come back if you want. This goes for anything, but it's gonna be best if you watch it as blind as possible. If I had to sum it up, Vivy is like a mix of Steins Gate and Violet Evergarden. For the first episode, before the start, we start at the end. The whole city's being burnt down and shit, with robots killing everybody. We have a doctor writing some code for an AI we get to know later on, and he barely executes it before getting shot by his top ops. After that, we go back to the chronological start of the story. We have Vivy/Diva the MC, who is the first humanoid AI made in 2060. Every AI is given a single task to dedicate to, because more than one complicates them. And for Vivy, her sole task is to sing and make everybody happy, and that's what she does straight from the Karen womb. She has her own little area in the city where people can go and watch her sing, but at the start nobody goes, which is really surprising. I don't know why anybody would want to see this new technology in person. Niggas must have had crazier shit going on in the metaverse. We start the story after like a year of her singing, where Vivy is just singing to an empty crowd every day, since that's what she was built for. She only has one person that goes to support her, Momoka. She hangs out with Vivy off stage and wants her to sing to a huge crowd someday. Vivy keeps singing like she always does, and then she gets hit with the code the doctor sent from the future. Vivy gets forced into her mental space since her body shut down, and she meets the second main character, Matsumo. He introduces himself and explains Vivy the situation, with humans getting killed by AIs in 100 years. But Vivy doesn't buy until they're in a building fighting terrorists, and that's where we meet Kakitani, the guy that gets cucked for basically the entire show. He's still a shitty person, but I still kinda feel bad for him. Ever since that first meeting, where he could have been in his late teens or early 20s, to 65 years later in the future, he kept getting his shit fucked up by Vivy and Matsumoto, and at some point he turns half robot to kill Vivy, which was really ironic, since this whole thing was about there being a gray area between humans and AIs. I mean, he was committing terrorist shit, so it's more of a good thing than a bad thing, but his childhood was still kinda fucked up. We don't get the full picture, but basically an AI that was important to him ended up dying. But people were picking and choosing on whether to treat him as an AI or a human, and Vivy was a constant reminder of that to him, since she was doing things you don't expect robots to do, like saving people. So it fucked him up and now he hates everybody. He pops up at random moments, but each arc is decades apart, so it makes sense. It was cool seeing his character develop over his lifetime. That's basically the core of what created the story for Vivy, us discovering that gray area between humans and robots. Even AI start to notice this gray area, but in a robot's perspective. For them, it's humans being too dependable on robots now, and the dynamics not really balanced anymore. And Vivy experiences both ends of it over 100 years. She sees new concepts like AI and humans having relationships, and AI trying to be happy outside the mission they were given, stuff like that. Nothing needs to be said about the animation. It's made by one of the best studios out right now, so people were expecting the animation to be good. I knew the animation was gonna be good, but I was still really impressed. Diva's fight against Kakitani was one of the best I've seen in a long time. I replayed it a bunch of times to see the small details added to their movements. The artistic choice in this anime is hella good. The close-up shots of Vivy or other AI faces added a lot of atmosphere. It was really trying to cement the idea that they really weren't people. You could see the detailing of their eye hardware, and the hyperrealism made them feel fake and real at the same time. They added it in at the perfect times too. That shit gave me goosebumps. It went over a lot of themes, but the pacing was really good. Each arc is really only like 2 or 3 episodes, but none of them feel like they stay for too long or go too fast. That shit made me feel philosophical when I was watching it. Some people probably think this is fucked up, but I agree mostly with what Karikani said about the gray area between AIs and humans, cause it can cause a lot of complicated shit like what happened in the story. The way he did it was fucked up, but what he was saying made sense. To be honest, humanity could get close to this by 2060 like the anime. I remember watching Sword Art Online with the VR gear, and it took place in like 2020 or somewhere close, And when it came out, I felt like that was so far off from reality. But now you got niggas trying to make a metaverse and shit. But it also made me think that maybe I think like this because I can't really visualize it right now. The closest thing people got to that is like VTubers. That shit made me think really deep without really trying to. The only thing I think is kind of a plot hole is that they should have known the project failed. Cause Matsumoto should have disappeared if the project worked. Cause he was only made with the purpose of doing the project. If it worked, there would be no reason for him to exist. So just have him not be created at all. Unless there's something I'm missing, he should have been gone. Besides that, I think the show is really good. And underrated a little bit. It got a lot less attention than it deserved. If you enjoyed, go watch some of my other shit about anime. That's all I have to say though. Peace.